Hey everyone, this is Adam Parker, the founder of the Detox Blueprint program. Today I'm excited to interview one of my recent successful clients, Kai, who was able to go from lots of trial and error and inconsistent energy to feeling alive, having amazing energy and just smashing it in all walks of life, work, personal life, and everything in between. They've joined me today to talk more about how they were able to do that. So thanks for coming on, Kai.
Good to be here. Thank you, Adam.
So let's start from the top. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
So I'm Kai. I'm the founder of Fighting Talent Group, which is a hospitality recruitment agency. We have a very busy lifestyle. We do a lot of traveling, a lot of interviews, and it's quite a demanding role because you've got to bring a lot of energy to what you do every single day.
And I know you do a fair bit of travel, right? You Dubai, and so that's also another layer of things to consider.
That's right. So we've got an office in Dubai and one in London. I spent half my time in London, half my time in Dubai. So there's a lot of sleep pattern issues there, and also the different environments as well. I mean, Dubai, there's a lot going on there in terms of a bit more of a toxic environment, I would say, with the food compared to London.
Yeah, good weather, but there's a lot more toxins for sure. So what was the biggest problem you were dealing with before you joined the program?
So I had a fairly healthy lifestyle. I mean, I still do. I eat well, I sleep well, I train 6 times a week. I'm doing all the right things to get the right results. But I just found that I was putting in all this effort and just getting very frustrated because there's a lot of sacrifices you need to make, right? To eat well every day and to do all this training, and then to only get kind of average results is quite frustrating and quite disheartening. And I kind of got to that point where I was a bit stuck. I was like, I'm ticking all these boxes. I'm doing all these things that I thought was right, but I'm still only 70, 75% on a good day. And on top of that, spending hundreds a week on supplements just to try and see what works, where I can get that extra small win, a bit more energy here, a bit of a better sleep there. And nothing really seemed to be working and kind of getting me to where I needed to be.
Yeah. Because I remember when we first spoke, you stopped drinking, you'd had, like most us Brits have, you have a enjoyable 20s and 30s, right? Just having fun, partying, etc. And then over the years, you dialed everything in. You're like, I'm eating clean, I've stopped drinking, I'm exercising, and I should be getting more for all the effort I'm putting in. And I remember on that call, some pennies were dropping where I was like, well, there's another area to consider.
Yeah, but that's it. I mean, a lot of people think, if you need to detox, you've got to have like a really horrible lifestyle. But, I didn't. I stopped drinking. I stopped smoking. I was making all these sacrifices to do the right things, to give myself a better, healthy lifestyle. And that's where the frustration comes in, because it's like, you're going to bed early, you're cooking all this beautiful organic food, and, you're not eating any of the nice things that you want to eat, sweets and ice creams. And then you're still missing that kind of optimal person that you think you should be by doing all these things.
Yeah. And I remember when I went through that journey myself, it was like, okay, if I'm doing all this stuff and it's not working, what more do I need to do? What more restriction? That's kind of where you go with it, because it's like, I should be feeling better and I'm still kind of average. Do I have to get stricter with my diet? Do I have to add more supplements? So it's a really confusing space, isn't it? When you're doing everything that you see on the social media channels and, further research, and you're just not getting, what you expect to get.
Absolutely. And it's costly, and it's time consuming as well, right? Because you read about this great new supplement that gives you energy, but you've got to take it for 6 months, right? And it's like, so you're piling all this stuff in, you're piling more stuff into your body just to try and get these tiny, small, marginal gains. In reality, the answer was to do the opposite.
Yeah, man, for sure. So you landed into the DMs, we had a bit of back and forth, and then we jumped on a call, and, you pulled the trigger, which, that to me is I like an action taker, and you were like, I'm all in, let's go. And you've had some amazing results. So why did you choose to work with me specifically over other programs out there?
I think, like you said, that there's a lot out there in this kind of wellness space, right? And you kind of, you want to do your own research, you want to filter out maybe some of the more kind of stuff that you hear that's maybe not as genuine. Where it really hit home for me was that, you kind of been on this journey, you've done all these things, you tried all these different approaches before. You'd basically done all the stuff that I was lining myself up to do, but had done it already, and then come back and said, right, well, here's a condensed version. This is going to save you 4 years and, however, several thousands of pounds by doing just these things that work. And I think the detox thing made sense to me because it's like I'm piling more and more stuff into my body to try and get the best out of it. But in reality, what needs to happen is I need to take the bad bits out and just let my body kind of crack on, right, and do its thing, which is very capable of doing in the right circumstances.
And that's definitely what I try and provide, because it's, my journey was like 5 years of just like throwing everything at it and not having a structure or process, and this works, I'll keep this, and this didn't, I'll drop it. So really the program is, how do I condense 5 years into under 5 months? Just ticking the boxes, being efficient. I tell you what, I will say, Kai, you've been one of the most disciplined and militant people who've been in the program. I remember reaching out to you. I was at an event. I was like, I just wonder how Kai's doing. I haven't checked in with him. I think you'd been like 3 or 4 weeks in the program, and you're like, yeah, I'm all the way through to liver. You just absolutely just so focused. And that really pays out, because when you have that level of drive, you get the results really quick. And I remember you coming back to me, like telling me, I just, all these supplements I'm not using anymore, so that was really, really great to work with you and see how motivated you were.
Yeah, and it's good, for me, I mean, it helps when you've got a personality where you're like all or nothing. But I think, we had that chat, and I think there's an element of trust there, right? So it's like, if I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do it. I'm not going to kind of maybe see what he says and then take some of it and not. It's like, look, let's give this a chance. What have I got to lose? Because a lot of it is very common sense as well, right? Like, if you've got say if you had like a car, right, and you're running it with a 40-year-old engine, and it's, i.e. me, and it's not performing at its best, you wouldn't just keep pouring more expensive petrol in, would you? You'd want to take it apart, look at, where the build-ups are, clean out the pipes, that sort of thing. So, it all makes sense. And then some of the bits where it's, you're like, well, I'm distilling my water, I'm doing all this stuff. It's a lot of information, but you just get into it, and then all of a sudden, before you know it, you're doing all these things every day, and it's forgotten about it, right? Because it becomes a part of your daily routine.
And that's probably one of the biggest things, that I'm basically selling habits, right? Because people think there's more stuff I need to do, and sometimes less is more. Doing things that it's like the Pareto's law: 20% delivers 80% of the impact. If you nail those 20% consistently, that's half the battle. And again, you had the right mindset from the outset. You were like, right, I'm all in. Let's make this happen. Bought everything you needed to buy, and then you were just consistent from day one. And that's why you were able to see such an uptick in energy so quickly, which is really great to see.
Yeah, totally. And I think as well, for me, I'm very results driven, right? So, there's supplements still at the back of my cupboard where, I've taken them for 6 months and I'm still not sure if they've really done anything. Whereas with this, you do your first liver flush, right? You can see instantly that this is working, because you can see what's coming out, and you can, you feel better within hours of doing this stuff. So that kind of encourages you to carry on doing it, because, you know that it's doing some good.
For sure. So what did you love the most about the program, and why did it work so well for you?
For me, I think there's a real sort of like cleansing feeling that I got. I mean, I wasn't completely new to the idea of detoxing, but I think before my understanding of it, you go and have a sauna and you sweat out a bit, and that's good for you, right? But there's a whole kind of, process that you went into, and it's a very kind of in-depth process, literally starting from the bottom up. The results of it are so profound and so quick that you start to feel better, and it makes a lot of sense, because you do get worried, like doing all these other things, exercising a lot, eating all this stuff, and putting all these supplements in you. You know that there's always going to be an opposite effect to that, right? And some stuff might actually be worse for you in the long run. Whereas with this, it's just very kind of it's straightforward and it makes sense, right? Your body's designed to be able to do all these things to look after you. You know, your liver can filter and so can your kidneys and all of this, and you're just giving them that room to breathe and getting rid of all of the toxins that's built up over the years of, you know, living in a city.
What I personally like about what I've created is I've really set the scene on why we need to do it. And I try to do that in my content as well, because I think that a lot of people out there are suffering with low energy or skin issues or anxiety, and they don't realize the vehicle to get to the result they want is actually not what you're loading in. It's what do I need to remove out? You know, an analogy I've recently come up with, Kai, is if you want to have a nice, pristine garden, and you look at your garden, it's just full of shit and there's just junk and crap, you're not going to throw nice flowers on top, right? You're gonna clear everything out, have a new foundation, then build on top of the new base. And I kind of feel detox is like that. It's like we've got a body that's accumulated a lot of stuff just through living. It's not necessarily if we're, you know, hitting it hard with partying and what we're eating. It's just general life. So we've got to clear that out, clear the terrain, and then we can start building with good food, fermented food, making, you know, all of that stuff works so much better. All of the supplements work so much better when you've cleaned out everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, look, it's not pretty work, right? And I think that's why it's great that you do this, because a lot of other people would stick to just selling you some nice little bottle that looks pretty and you rub it on your face every day, right? Because that's an easy sell. You know, this isn't a pretty business. This is cleaning out your, you know, years of built up gunk in your system, and people avoid that, right? Because they want to have the nice little sort of quick fix, simple solution that smells nice in in beautiful packaging. You know, there's not a lot of people, I don't think, have the bravery to kind of go down there and be, actually, guys, this is how you do it. But look, you're going to have a couple of days off work in the process.
Yeah, for sure. And dude, you wouldn't believe the amount of photos I get from everyone in the community of what's coming out of them. I kind of love it because it's like I can see when, you know, gallstones or mucoid plaques or whatever we're working on, it comes out of you. I know it's going to make you feel good because it's just going to free everything up. So yeah, you're right. It's not pretty, but it has a huge impact on how you feel. So what were the results from implementing what we teach in the program for you?
Straight away, to me, I felt within the first week, I saw a huge increase in my energy. I started to stop taking all the supplements I was taking. You know, I didn't feel the need to go to the gym and like exhaust myself every day, because I started to feel a bit better as well. Like my mood was up, I was sleeping better. And then further down, as we got through the process and got more into the different levels of detoxing, then I started to notice more sort of, you know, physical effects. You know, my skin started to look better. You know, I generally felt better. I looked better as well. You know, I was dropping, you know, a bit of excess like chub everywhere. My hair felt better. You know, it's kind of like your body starts to come to life again and starts to go through all the processes that it should be doing. Whereas before, when it's clogged up and you start to feel a bit, you know, drained. So I instantly found that. And then as we've got through, you know, further few months down the line, like I now incorporating a lot of these things into my daily life. I don't really have any off days. Whereas before, if I was to miss a day at the gym, you know, that day my mood's going to be down. I'm not going to feel great. Now I can go 2 days without, you know, doing any exercise or anything, and I'm still feeling great. My body's still functioning.
Do you know what I love? It's the small subtleties that you notice randomly. So you'll just be living your life and you'll be like, oh, I'm normally tired at this point, or wow, I've just got a little more pump in the gym. It's just little subtle things that start to add up over time, and then you're thinking, okay, interesting. What am I doing? Oh well, yeah, I'm doing the detox thing, so that must be connected. And it's just the slow unraveling and things starting to work better, which I think is just awesome.
Yeah, and it's a couple of, look, you know, there's some processes you've got to go through, right, in your program, which are, you know, some of them are tougher than others, but it's like, you know, you give yourself 2 or 3 months of doing this stuff, and then after that, it's quite plain sailing. Whereas, you know, for me, for the last 10 years, I've been pushing hard every week, doing all this other stuff and not getting anywhere. So it's worth that initial input to then get yourself to that level where you're now just looking at kind of maintenance and doing sort of regular protocols now and then, but nothing too intense.
Yeah, I love it. So how has your life personally changed since getting these results?
So I've found myself in a much more kind of positive place. My mood is always good. I'm sleeping very well. I feel like I've got a lot of these tools with me as well that, I can kind of pull out the bag at any time, So if there's a day where I know I've got an important event in the evening, I know that I can do something in the morning that's going to make me have more energy for that day. If I go on like a long haul flight where normally I'd be wiped out for a day, I know that I can get up and I can go straight into a meeting because I'm going to feel energized. I'm going to feel good. Generally, it's freed up a lot of time. It's a commitment at first. There's a few months of, doing all these things and there was a time commitment there, but it's actually freed up a lot of time for me in the future because, I'm doing less and getting more out of it.
It basically gives you a toolbox, right? You've got this new toolbox of things that works, firstly, right? It's tried and tested because you went through the effort of learning it all, going through the program. You get through it, and now it's like, okay, cool. If I need to just really hit it, or I've got to, I imagine, like, for example, Christmas period, there's a lot going on. You've got loads of things at your disposal now. Okay, do enough coffee enema, or I'll increase minerals or whatever. You've got so much at your disposal where previously people would just be going for the same old stuff, the supplements or the electrolyte, whatever their kind of usual thing was. So I think it gives people a toolbox on how to maintain good performance.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've got all these things available to you. So, when something comes up inevitably, like there's a flu going around or something like that, you just tweak a little bit, right? To give yourself that bit more of a boost or a bit more of an edge, like whatever that is.
So where do you think you would be today if you hadn't joined the program?
I think I would still be struggling, trying out all these different gimmicks and supplements, and I'd be more and more frustrated. I think we're getting to the point where you can only put yourself through so much. There's only so many gym sessions you can do. There's only so much organic food you can buy that doesn't really do anything. But I think I would have got to the point where I was potentially getting so frustrated. I would have thought, like, what's the point? Why don't we just let everything slide? Like, there's no point going, eating this way and training this way and doing all this to get such little results. So I think it's given me that enthusiasm back to continue leading like a very healthy lifestyle and to be, enjoying myself.
That's awesome, because now you're reaping the rewards, because, when we first met, Kai, you were militant, like stop drinking, eating well, doing everything. And, now I feel you're getting what you deserve, right? You're feeling good. And then I'm sure that flows into every part of your life, like how you turn up in business, family, friends. And yeah, I'm so happy for you, man, because, you're feeling how you should be feeling, considering the amount of focus you put on your health.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, health is everything, right? So that's why I was focusing so much on it, because, if you're healthy and you're turning up every day and you're not having an off day, then that translates to everything in your life. So I was getting there and I was, starting to feel okay, but it was taking up so much time to just maintain this sort of level of mediocrity. Whereas now, I've got this kind of fantastic base, which, has shown up in all the other areas of my life. The business is flying, relationship is great. It's, it just translates into every area, doesn't it? Once you're feeling great, everything else becomes almost easy.
I love that, man. That's awesome. Okay, final question from me. Imagine someone was watching this right now and they were on the fence about booking a call to speak with me or my team about the program. What would you say to them?
You're not going to find a better investment than investing in your health, no matter what your issue is. If you're already quite healthy or if you're already in a terrible state, it doesn't matter. Pick up that phone, speak to Adam, get yourself on this course and do the protocols. Now, a lot of it will sound a bit funny at first. You might be like, why did you tell me to stick that up my bum? But just do it. Because ultimately, whatever's happening in your life, you go through this process, you do all of this, it will inevitably become better as a result of doing this.
I love it, man. It's just trust the process. The tried and true process.
Get it done as well. Just give yourself 3 months out of your life is nothing, right? Obviously you do other things in the meantime, but 3 months out of your life is nothing to go through this process, and the effect it will have from there on is immeasurable. So get it done.
All right, everyone. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you to Kai for letting me interview you. If you're watching this right now and you're interested in working on detoxifying your body, or you have any questions about the program, book a call by clicking the link provided in the video below so we can chat. On the call, we're going to figure out the following. Firstly, what's your goal? Secondly, what's holding you back? And thirdly, getting clear on how we can fix that. So book the call now before the calendar gets filled up. Thanks again, and speak soon.